Are you sure your morning cup of coffee is really safe? This isn't a joke. In just the past 3 months, more than 6 popular coffee brands have been reported or recalled in several states for containing harmful chemicals, hidden caffeine, and even tiny shards of glass. The scary part is most coffee drinkers have no idea. They keep buying, keep brewing, keep drinking every single day out of old habit. The more familiar it feels, the less cautious we become. And that's why so many people only realize the problem when their health starts to decline. Endless nights of insomnia, rising blood pressure, nagging headaches, a burning stomach after every strong shot of espresso. All of it could be coming from the very thing you thought was your morning friend. In this video, we are going to take a hard look at the 5 coffees that most deserve to be cut from your life right now. And thankfully, there are still a few you can trust. Don't skip this, because one small change today could save you from a big problem tomorrow. Number 1. Overly dark roasts. Do you think Folgers, Black Silk Pete's French Roast, or Death Wish coffee? Dark roast are the perfect picks to kickstart your morning. Honestly, many Americans have believed that for years. These names are everywhere, easy to grab off the supermarket shelf. But the truth is, for over a decade, millions of morning cups might have been slowly damaging their nervous systems without them even knowing. Why? The answer lies in a compound called acrylamide, which forms when coffee is roasted too long, especially in those ultra-dark blends. Acrylamide has been flagged for its harmful effects on the nervous system, and even its toxicity to neurons, as medical studies have shown. If you've been drinking a strong dark roast every morning for, say, 20 years, the buildup of this chemical in your body is far from insignificant. That's concerning. And the brands, they know exactly what they're doing. Heavy roasting covers up a lot of flaws. Burnt beans have one undeniable advantage: they mask sourness, mustiness, or staleness in low-grade coffee. Beans that don't meet quality standards or leftover scraps can be roasted extra dark ground, ultra fine, and packaged to look and smell consistent. Consumers see the bold black color, assume it's premium, and never realize the truth hidden in each bag of instant or ground coffee. This isn't about scare tactics. It's about awareness. Everything is calculated: the low cost of cheap beans, the illusion of a strong taste that keeps customers hooked, all carefully designed. And in a culture where a strong cup in the morning is practically a ritual, people rarely question it. The less we question, the less we realize how that habit might be wearing down our nerves, focus, and even memory over time. So if you notice signs like sweating at night, hands trembling a little when holding your cup, or simply finding it harder to concentrate, don't be too quick to blame aging or stress. Ask yourself, could that familiar dark roast every afternoon be delivering a small hit to your nervous system day after day? I get it, breaking a coffee habit isn't easy, especially when that bold, smoky flavor feels like part of who you are. But here's the thing: if you pause, choose a lighter roast, or pick a cleaner Arabica bean, you're actually giving your nervous system a real break. The question is, are you willing to listen to your body and ask, is my favorite coffee really a good friend? Or is it something I should rethink in my morning routine? Number 2, flavored coffee. Stop drinking flavored coffees like caramel macchiato, vanilla latte, or mocha swirl right now. These supermarket favorites that so many people rely on every morning are not just sweet. They are chemical cocktails designed to trick your taste buds. That caramel or vanilla note in every sip, it usually doesn't come from anything natural. More often, it's a mix of synthetic additives crafted to deliver a sweet aroma and lock in flavor for hours. These compounds have repeatedly been linked to vascular inflammation, higher levels of bad cholesterol, and potential risks for heart health, especially in people with pre-existing conditions. When you drink them daily, your liver and blood vessels are quietly dealing with substances that haven't been tested long enough for safety. A recent nutrition report also pointed out that flavored creamers, syrups, and overly sweet plant-based creams often spike blood sugar, contribute to insulin resistance, and even trigger whole-body inflammation. These are not small side effects. They are warning signs of long-term damage hidden behind what looks like just a little sweetness in your morning cup. And the manufacturers, They know people love a soft caramel note or a light touch of vanilla, so they cut out natural extracts and lean on cheap synthetic chemicals instead. It makes the flavor easy to control, the product easier to store, and it blurs the line between actual coffee and what's essentially sugar water with coffee flavoring. Customers feel satisfied, never realizing they've been hooked on flavor chemicals rather than real coffee beans. The problem is none of this comes with a health warning. You buy that caramel-flavored coffee because it tastes good. You drink it because it's comforting. And when fatigue, rapid heartbeat, or shortness of breath in the stairs eventually creep in, most people blame aging rather than their daily habit of sipping on flavored imposters. This kind of reporting isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up. Everything is carefully engineered: your taste buds, your trust, your habits. That sweet cup you think is brightening up your Monday morning might actually be the beginning of years of quiet exhaustion. You can let go of that gentle caramel sweetness or delicate vanilla note once you realize your heart is worth far more than a temporary sugar hit. Instead of trusting a foamy flavored illusion to be your morning love, let your health decide what's really worth drinking. So here's the real question: is what you're enjoying truly coffee, or just a flavor fantasy you should walk away from to protect your heart and blood vessels? Number 3. Ultra cheap instant coffee. The first trap many people don't even notice is the price. A box of instant coffee for just a few dollars works out to less than 10 cents a cup. It's convenient, budget-friendly, and easy to make. For anyone living on a fixed income or trying to cut back on expenses, it feels like a bargain. But what's hiding behind that low price? Most of the ultra-cheap instant coffees in the market, especially brands aimed at the mass market like Great Value Instant Coffee, Maxwell House Instant, or Cafe Bustelo Instant, are often made from beans that don't meet export standards or from byproducts of the coffee-making process. Broken beans, defective beans, even spent grounds can be recycled into these products. And to turn that into something you drink every day, manufacturers rely heavily on stabilizers, anti-caking agents, preservatives, and even artificial flavors and colors. Names like potassium bromate, propylene glycol, or caramel coloring class 3 and IV ingredients that have long been flagged for potential damage to the liver and kidneys often show up on the ingredient list in tiny print on the back of the box. But who actually checks? A study in clinical toxicology found that these compounds, when they build up, can directly affect the liver, throwing off enzyme balance, increasing toxins in the body, and weakening detox function, which means that the cheap cup you're drinking today could become a burden on your liver 5 years from now, especially if you already deal with liver issues, high blood pressure, or diabetes. And don't forget, because they're mass-produced, cheap instant coffees are often poorly monitored for heavy metal residues from water packaging or extraction methods. An FDA report once noted lead levels above the legal limit in certain imported samples of low-cost instant coffee. It's not something that knocks you out overnight, but after 10 or 20 years of steady buildup, no one can guarantee the outcome. This isn't meant to scare you every time you open a coffee packet in the morning, but at the very least understand this: not every cup is a little daily joy. Some cups are trading your health for a few pennies of profit, so if you're drinking instant coffee only because it's cheap, fast, and easy, ask yourself, are you really saving money? Or are you quietly adding an invisible burden to your body? Are you willing to spend just a few cents more each day for peace of mind, for your liver, for your digestion, and even for your sleep? Or will you keep believing that cheap never comes with a cost? Number 4. Strong espresso on an empty stomach. Morning time. Your stomach is empty, you haven't eaten anything, and the first thing you do is rush to make a strong shot of espresso. Sound familiar? It's one of the most dangerous habits many people repeat every day without realizing it. We often think one espresso to wake up, boost motivation, and kick the brain into gear. But have you noticed how your body reacts afterward? Your heart races, you feel a little queasy, or your stomach starts burning. None of that is random. A concentrated espresso on an empty stomach stimulates the stomach to produce a surge of acid. With no food there to balance it out, that acid erodes the protective lining and creates the perfect environment for Helicobacter pylori, the leading cause of ulcers, to thrive. Over time, this doesn't just mean an upset stomach. it can escalate into acid reflux, gastrointestinal bleeding, or in severe cases, even a perforated ulcer. And it doesn't stop at the stomach. Excess acid disrupts the balance of gut bacteria, leading to long-term digestive issues and poor nutrient absorption, especially in older adults. That's why so many people say food doesn't taste as good anymore, or they feel bloated and gassy after meals, even when they don't eat much. Many gastroenterologists have warned that the habit of espresso instead of breakfast is driving up rates of chronic gastritis in people over 50, a group already more vulnerable because of a weaker digestive system. But since espresso has become a symbol of modern life sophistication and efficiency, the hidden risks in that tiny cup are often overlooked. What's even more concerning is that most espressos today are brewed under high pressure at high temperatures, and with a heavy dose of grounds, producing an ultra-concentrated liquid. When you drink that on an empty stomach, its osmotic pressure triggers your nervous system more aggressively than usual. That's what causes vague anxiety, trembling hands, or lingering insomnia that lasts well into the night. So don't just think about the instant alertness. Think about the price you'll pay after years of this routine. A simple breakfast before your coffee, or choosing a lighter, gentler roast, could be exactly what your stomach needs. Number 5. Low-grade Robusta blends. High caffeine isn't always good news. In many cases, it's the very reason behind sudden spikes in blood pressure, heart palpitations, or persistent headaches, especially for people with a history of heart problems or hypertension. What most people don't realize is that their daily cup may contain 1.5 to even twice the caffeine their body should handle, simply because it's blended with low-quality Robusta beans. Robusta naturally carries more caffeine than Arabica. But when producers use the worst beans, broken, blackened, or moldy, and roast them dark to hide the flaws, the caffeine content in a cup goes from stimulating to overloading. And since companies are not required to list the Arabica to Robusta ratio, consumers are left completely in the dark. A random survey of coffee shops across the Midwest found that more than 60% of brewed coffee sold contained over 180 milligrams of caffeine per cup, already above the safe recommendation for adults over 50 if consumed on an empty stomach. This is even more common with cheap packaged coffee or bulk roasts of unclear origin, where Robusta is used as the main ingredient because it costs half as much. What does too much caffeine do? It's not just a racing heart or a restless night. It causes strong blood vessel constriction, pushing up pressure on the arterial walls and triggering sudden hypertension, especially when combined with stress or lack of sleep. In some cases, it can even provoke mild chest pain that people mistake for stress, when in fact it's a clear warning signal from the heart. And it doesn't end there. Low-quality Robusta often comes with poor extraction quality, leaving behind unstable oils that the liver has to work harder to process. Over time, especially in older adults, this becomes a serious burden on the liver and kidneys organs that are already slowing down with age. The problem is you can't smell how much Robusta is in your coffee. You can't see the broken or moldy beans once they've been ground fine and roasted dark. All you get is a strong aroma that's easy to mistake for real coffee. So if you've ever felt wide awake after your cup only to crash into fatigue, heaviness in your chest, or shortness of breath, that's not normal. It could be the direct consequence of what you've been drinking every single day without ever looking closer. Those cups of coffee you thought were your morning companions may have actually been quietly undermining your health for years. But here's the good news: you don't have to give up coffee. You just need to choose better. And right now we'll look at 3 safer, cleaner, and truly worthy options for your body. Number 1. Organic Medium Roast Arabica. After countless gimmicks labeled as extra strong bold roast or caramel-flavored organic medium roast Arabica feels like one of the few honest choices left. Not because it's more expensive, but because it doesn't trick you. First, Arabica beans naturally contain less caffeine than Robusta. That means you still get alertness, but without the jarring punch of those ultra-dark roasts. For people with sensitive blood pressure or ongoing health conditions, cutting back on daily caffeine is the right move, and you don't have to give up your morning ritual to do it. But the real difference lies in the word organic. From farming to harvest to roasting, no synthetic pesticides, no chemical preservatives, no artificial flavors. That significantly lowers the risk of hidden toxins, something mass-market coffee brands often fail to control. You're drinking coffee, not an extra dose of impurities your liver has to quietly filter every day. And because it's roasted at a medium level, not too burnt, not too light, it preserves natural enzymes and beneficial polyphenols, while minimizing acrylamide, a harmful compound more common in dark roasts. That's not just a technical detail. It's a conscious choice to protect your health. The encouraging sign: more and more people are rediscovering this seemingly simple kind of coffee. After chasing all the flavors and marketing tricks, they've realized that an honest, clean, balanced cup is what their body truly appreciates. So the real question is, do you want your next cup of coffee to be a clear decision or a daily gamble with your health? Number 2. Swiss Water Decaf Coffee. If you've ever tried decaf and thought it tasted bitter, flat, or even a little chemical, chances are you were drinking the kind that was stripped of caffeine using industrial solvents. And that's not unusual. Most cheap decaf on the market relies on methylene chloride or ethyl acetate to do the job. Sound more like a chemistry lab than a coffee roastery. That's because it is. Swiss Water Decaf. Coffee, however, is completely different. It's one of the very few decaf methods that's 100% chemical-free, using only pure water, carefully controlled temperature and pressure. This process preserves the bean's natural flavor without leaving behind harmful residues, a huge win, especially for older adults whose detox systems aren't as strong as they used to be. Here's the irony: a lot of people switch to decaf for health reasons, but end up drinking chemicals that over time can mess with liver enzymes, affect the nervous system, or even contribute to chronic anxiety. With Swiss water, none of that happens, because there's nothing in it your body has to fight off or break down. Another big plus, since most of the natural flavor is kept intact, this decaf doesn't need artificial additives to fake a coffee taste like so many bargain brands do. That might sound like a small detail, but it makes all the difference for anyone trying to build a healthier long-term habit, rather than settling for a bitter brown liquid built in a lab. You don't have to drink coffee that adds to your anxiety. And you don't have to sacrifice flavor just to cut back on caffeine. If there's an option that's safer, cleaner, and leaves you without second thoughts after every cup, isn't it worth trying at least once? Number 3. Mushroom Coffee Blend. This isn't coffee the way you've always known it. Mushroom coffee blend might sound unusual, but it's quickly becoming the smartest alternative for people who want the focus and energy of coffee without putting extra strain on the heart or nervous system. The main ingredients are medicinal mushrooms, most commonly lion's mane and reishi. These aren't for flavor, they're for function. Lion's mane is linked to brain support and memory protection, while reishi is known for boosting the immune system and reducing inflammation. Together, they're especially valuable for anyone who wants to protect cognitive health, manage stress naturally, and maintain long-term resilience. The biggest difference: mushroom coffee won't leave you jittery. Most blends contain only about 1/3 the caffeine of regular coffee, yet still deliver alertness, mental clarity, and most importantly, stability. That means no more buzz and crash, no more racing heartbeat, and no more shaky hands after a cup. Even better, these blends are typically clean, no preservatives, no artificial flavors, no synthetic coloring. The more reputable brands commit to organic sourcing and use low-heat processing to preserve the mushroom's natural benefits. So you're not just drinking coffee, you're nourishing your body with compounds that reduce chronic inflammation, support brain function, and help keep your mood steady. Of course, mushroom coffee isn't for anyone chasing that punch of bitterness. But if what you really care about is lasting mental sharpness, focus, and memory support, this is a choice worth exploring. Because in the end, coffee should give you energy, not leave you sighing, restless, or quietly anxious. The real question is, are you ready to try a new kind of coffee, one that could actually be a true ally for your brain? Coffee has always been one of life's simple pleasures. But when the market floods it with chemicals, byproducts, and marketing tricks, the people who pay the price are the drinkers themselves. Nobody wants to give up their morning ritual, but choosing the right kind of coffee cleaner, safer and more honest, can be a small shift that makes a big difference for your health. So, ask yourself, is your daily cup really fueling you? Or is it quietly draining you bit by bit? If the answer gives you pause, maybe it's time to choose differently.
This video does not promote division within the United States or encourage litigation. All content is presented for the purpose of exploration, analysis, and fostering discussion based on current events, public sentiment, and social trends. We fully respect the United States Constitution and all federal regulations. If today's analysis made you think, drop a comment so we can keep the conversations going. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you will never miss our next independent deep dive.